Hello and welcome to Toronto Electronic Music Producers. Happy New Year. It's our first online meetup for January. And we were just having a discussion before we started here about social media. And I won't. Hello and welcome to Toronto. My video here. I won't go over what we just said, but it was an interesting discussion. And just sort of as a segue, it's nice that though Zoom and all this video conferencing is not exactly like being together, it's at least a lot better than, chatting on a text box anyhow. So at least we have a face to face and we can hear each other and speak. So I think it's one good use of technology actually is to bring people together, like-minded and people who have similar interests. And over the years, this group has certainly been uh, diverse in terms of the sound, the music genres, the perspectives. But the one great constant was and has been the quality of what people have brought to the table. So we're blessed to hear so much great music, and I appreciate all of you, and thank you for taking the time out to join us this evening. We're going to be doing this every month, with the exception of August, if everything goes as planned. That's the idea for 2026. And little word about the membership thing. Like obviously that's optional. It just for some people they may find it more convenient just to sort of pay a small amount. You do it through GoFundMe, or you can do it through Meetup. We're just trying to cover the cost, just to sort of explain that a little bit. Essentially, the shoestring budget that I'm operating on is approximately $500 Canadian a year. That's the cost of Zoom and Meetup. So just to explain what those fees are for, like that's it. Just basically trying to cover that. And if there's ever any questions or issues with getting the information, just reach out. The mail fence email is the best one to use, and you don't have to do it twice. I think perhaps some people have been doing it, contributing to the GoFundMe and paying the meetup, and obviously you don't need to do that. But I do appreciate whatever you guys pitch in. But yeah, it's a group effort, and one of my New Year's resolutions is to be a little bit more careful with my words. So I'm not going to talk as much. Having said that, I got Marlon Brando all queued up to explain the rules, and I'll just go ahead and make sure I share the sound this time, and let's hear what he has to say.
Original content and provide feedback. We meet monthly to listen to electronic music producers' original content and provide feedback. Each producer is given time for one track. The order of when each producer gets their time to share is chosen randomly via random name picker. Producers are asked to send their links and/or files ahead of time. The email address is in the event details. During the meetup, the presenter will play back each producer's content. After each track, the group does a round table with participants in Zoom and discuss the track.
Saves me the breath of having to say that every month. So, who says AI isn't useful for something? But anyway, yeah. Also, obviously, there's a delay. I'm sure any of you that has been tuning into the YouTube and you hear what we're saying, and then 20 seconds later, it's on the YouTube. So apologies for that, but it's just part of the deal. I got Yoshi in the chat here. You may remember him from a few of our previous meetup groups. A very good drum and bass DJ and producer. Yoshi, big ups. Happy New Year. And his latest track is the bomb. Like, I hate to use that expression, but I don't know. Trying to think of superlatives. Just very, very impressed, Yoshi. Good stuff. But yeah, so how are you guys doing? Anyone want to say anything?
I was gonna say Twitch is up as working right now.
Okay. Hey, if it's working, then the
All the
latency
better.
with yeah, with the latency with Twitch tends to be better, right? With less of a delay. So by all means, check that out. Let me know, Andrew, as the night goes on, if it even
Okay.
lasts that long. Uh, I feel like I've said those words before, and then immediately right after it crashes. But who knows? Could be different this time around.
Well, how
So
about some interesting news?
sure.
Native Instruments in insolvency. So Native Instruments,
Whoa.
Isotope, Brainworks, and Plugin Alliance. It'll be interesting to see what happens after all the
Oh
tree gets
shit.
shaken around. So we'll
They
see.
they they run they run Plugin Alliance.
Yeah, they bought Plugin Alliance. They bought Isotope, Brainworks.
Isotope. Wow.
Yep, yep. So I'm imagining pieces will be sold off. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. So you might think about rendering to disk all those songs that use those plugins, which is pretty
No
much everything that
doubt.
I've done. So
Is that right? I
especially
know I know Plugin Alliance is kind of like a subscription sort of thing. So it's got like a
you
kind
can
of
they do have a subscription, but they also you can buy plugins too. Usually they have a sale like $29 on the
right.
plugin every once
Yeah,
in a
I've
while.
got like
So
To be fair, I lost count how many times they declared bankruptcy or were near bankruptcy. Like it's been
uh,
years. So somehow I'm not surprised at all.
yeah, I'm not surprised either. But yeah, a bit of a shakeup for me because Lander bought Reason, um, Native Instruments. What's next, right? Fender bought ProSonus or what? I don't remember what DAW that they bought, but now it's called Fender Studio or something like that. So always something going on.
yeah. Yeah, no, thanks for that. That's good to know. I'll keep my eyes open. I mean, my Ozone, which is Isotope,
Hmm.
is standalone, I guess, but there is that kind of boot up manager or whatever it's called. So
Yeah.
I don't see that
I mean, likely,
breaking it,
likely, so
but
many people are using those plugins. I mean, I know a lot of orchestral composers and stuff that use Contact. I mean, it's so deeply embedded. I don't really understand how they. Who knows what the reason is, but anyway, something to keep your eye on.
My theory is that they invested shit ton of money into STEM DJing, and it was a
Uh huh.
flop. And they invested hundreds of millions in all these in hardware and software,
Yeah.
and they couldn't recover from that ever
Hmm.
since because it didn't pick up. That's at least I don't know their finances, obviously, but this is my theory because
Yeah.
they pitched it as a next revolution that just didn't happen.
software was it? What DJ software did you say, or platform?
Well, they
Well, the
pitched
tractor.
the stems with tractor, right? So
Oh,
you're not
Tractor.
only mixing trucks, you're mixing stems, and it sounded really cool, but it was also complex and also the source materials, like you have to buy stems and or trucks, but stems, and it just
I think maybe what
didn't
killed
scale,
that
I guess.
is that Virtual DJ and other
Hmm.
software now has copied it, but they were the first. And you can create virtual stems on the fly with stereo tracks. So you don't even need to have special tracks. You just load them. And I've been using that for years now as a production technique, right?
And maybe like now with the on the fly separation, it's possible, but Tractor was like ages ago with all this, right? And I guess they were too early to the market, perhaps, or prematurely. So, or the tech wasn't there, or maybe demand wasn't there, or something. Yeah, I mean, it was just a mistake they made this way or another, but very costly one as well. So.
Just sent Yoshi the link. Yoshi, if you're listening, man, check your messenger. But interesting, yeah. Well, you know what? Um, Someone was speculating on a different note, even though their stock price went up today. But when Facebook changed their name to Meta, some people were saying they sort of jumped. quickly because now the whole meta verse thing is sort of flopped in many people's eyes. You know what I mean? They got like the Ray-Ban glasses and stuff, and seems like they went all in with that, right? Like they pushed all their chips in the middle and said, "Okay, we're gonna bet everything on the metaverse," and sort of came and went. But obviously, Facebook is not going away anytime soon. Although maybe we can change that. But in all seriousness, whatever avenues we have to use, like I mean, sometimes, like I've mentioned this before, people are not big fans of Google/YouTube, whatever, but there's only so many platforms that we have available to us, and luckily that one is working because Twitch. I don't know if it's still working, Andrew, or not, but we stream to multiple platforms at the same time for that purpose, just in case we have one not working or cooperating so well, we have another to fall back on. But alrighty then. Well,
No,
I'm gonna go.
just before you move on there, Lenny, I'll just put this in. So I was looking at the Junos. So Canada has the Junos. In the U.S., you got the Grammys. So they have an electronic category, and this group here, Channel 303, has put out an album, Cloverdale. So I was listening to a couple of the ones, but this one seemed kind of interesting. I thought you might like to listen to it, to Lenny.
Yeah, I'll check. Thank you. I had noticed that, and I didn't really.
There's about five that are in there that have been nominated, and the list of nominees is up. But this one, it was more like instrumental, a little bit more like some of us might do. Where maybe another one I was listening to was more trance with a singer. This one was all instrumental,
Right on.
electronic.
Cool. Yeah, I can't say I've heard them, but I'll definitely check it out. I'm interested to hear what they have to say. And actually, on a kind of, I don't know if it's related, but I went to my old high school like literally yesterday because I'm living now closer to where I went to school. And when I was going to that high school, they had like a very open format. Like once a week, we had outside people doing presentations or whatever. I think things may have changed now there, but I went there to pitch the idea that, hey, I run this meetup group called TEMP. Who knows? I would love to do a presentation there, or maybe, get some of the students. We tend to have an older demographic, so it'd be nice to have some younger people participate. Just to throw it out there that you never know, there could be some people tuning in.
Who are you
But
calling old? I'm just kidding.
yeah, well, I never really thought about it until someone made there because I was talking about it online. I'm like, oh yeah, you're like those bunch of old guys wearing hoodies. Like bunch of old guys wearing hoodies. Okay, I was like, man, that was. I don't think it was meant as a necessarily an insult, but I don't know that it was a compliment either. But hey, the music is good anyhow, so regardless. But okay, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here. I think I have. And hi, Peter Grillo, by the way. Good to see you
Hi,
again.
Peter.
Joined a bit later, but
Hello.
all right. So I do have you on the list here. I don't know if I'm missing anyone. Just let me know. I'm always kind of worried about that. Yeah, see, there you go. Talk about. Actually, wait a minute. That's Gokai. Sorry, I get you guys confused. Your names both start with G. That's how easy it is to confuse me. But anyways, Gokai, good to see you again. Zoom user, I should say. How's everything going?
Good. It's been I think the last time I was here was like 4 months ago, maybe. So things just get insanely busy, and I try to come when I can.
Nice. Well, I'm glad that you could make it. So, yeah, tell us about the tune that you want to share if you want to. We can talk about it afterwards too. Like we will obviously talk about it afterwards, but
hmm
you're free to set it up. Some people prefer not to say anything, and it's entirely up to you.
Sure. Yeah, no, that's fine. It's interesting. I think I don't, and I was having this conversation with a friend. I don't know that I have a genre that I prefer or cater to. I kind of just I find something that I find interesting and kind of build around it. And usually I like what comes out. Sometimes I specifically try to do certain things. But anyway, this track was I kind of started with the bass line and I didn't know where to take it, but it ended up going it ended up being melody heavy, even though I started with bass and drums. I would say I'm about 95% ready to release it. There's some stuff that I'm not sure about, and it's specifically at the end when like the kind of after the drop and the ending section happens, there are some things that I think are weird. So I'm looking for you guys. You will hear it, I think, and then some people will comment on it, I'm sure, but I'm looking for kind of feedback on that. And also, the track as a whole. So yeah.
Okay, well, let's give it a whirl. And yeah, we put you guys on mute. And if you need the link, it's in the chat. So let's give it a listen. Yes.
Yeah, very nice. I really liked that track. It had a lot of organicness to it. It wasn't like repetitive or predictable, but it had the common themes kind of throughout, which kind of held everything together. And I liked how you brought in different parts and different instruments. Yeah, I thought it was awesome track. I think yeah, just work on the ending where it just doesn't cut off. You know, maybe that guitar part, guitarish part, kind of just reverberates out at the end. You know, but I thought it was really good. The arrangement was good. The only thing that maybe bothered me a little bit was the really kind of sound was a little harsh,
Mm-hmm.
but I got used to it after a while. I thought, well, maybe that can come down, but overall, I really liked it. Yeah,
How was the? I think one part I was struggling with was kind of gain staging the different parts. I felt
yeah,
it was. I know because it's different elements, so
yeah, yeah. I thought the mix was pretty good, actually.
okay.
Maybe the pads go up a little bit because I really liked that pad, like the little swell that you had, the synth swell that was
Mm-hmm.
kind of like a pad sound.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to hear a little bit more of it, but yeah, I thought it was pretty spot on, and on my meters it looked pretty good. So.
So,
I found it very whimsical, but it's not. You got so much. What's your rhythm? What have you got going there?
like, what do you mean
For
in terms of
the time
BPM?
signature, maybe.
Yeah, or just yeah, and just the way that you've got that very cool rhythm going there.
It's like the track is 4/4, but that the bass was 3/8, so it was going in 3/8, so it feels a bit off. But it's still summed to kind of like 4 beats per bar. So
I forgot what's the term for this when it goes.
I don't know. I don't
There
know.
is a term for this.
Syncopation.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe
Oh,
syncopation.
sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you, Phil.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
thought it had a bit of a glitch feel to it without having the glitch, if that makes any sense. You know what I
Mm.
mean? So I could
Yeah,
kind of.
it didn't feel contrived. It was felt like it was meant to be there. Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I didn't mean to
Definitely
cut you off.
did. No, 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 not at all. And it did have sort of a melancholy feel and kind of a pleasant feel at the same time, so
Hmm.
kind of a
I don't
nice
know. It kind
vibe.
of sorry, buddy. It kind of reminded me of not reminded me of, but the first thing I thought of when I started listening to it a little bit more in depthly there was like a happy lullaby kind of. I don't
Mm.
know. That's just kind of what I got out of it. Like I'd like put my kid down to sleep if I had kids to that or something like that. Just
Hmm.
yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I tend to go, like I said, I always start heavy with like heavy bass lines and drums, and I'm like, oh, I like this. And as I'm filling out the track, it tends to just be like very, very melody heavy at the end. So yeah, I hear you on that for sure.
Yeah, but the melody was good. You know,
Yeah, I don't
it was
find it heavy.
playful. It was playful, unique, and the sounds that you were using kind of added to that. You know, like kind of the bendy sounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I felt it was intoxicating. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's like a genre bending kind of a tune as well,
Mhm.
which is
Hmm.
perfectly fine. I think I think you were saying that you don't like to be predictable, if I can phrase it that way.
That's right. Yeah.
And you're sort of, so I think you achieved that. It was kind of like you're not sure what to expect.
Mhm.
So it keeps it fresh, it keeps it interesting. And like there's enough other types of music out there. It's refreshing to hear something different, right?
Awesome. Appreciate that.
Not all electronic music is dance music. We don't need to be reminded of that here, but I'm just saying, to a large portion of the population, that's sort of what they see and think of it in a way.
Yeah. Awesome.
Alrighty. Well,
Thanks,
thanks
guys.
you again for sharing. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
We'll spin the wheel here. Can figure it out. Oh man, it's fixed. It's fixed. Okay. Well, as some of you may know, I am releasing an EP like probably next week. I'm just on the final touches. And I actually am in a situation that's new for me where I have more tracks than I can fit on an EP. And I'm being a little bit more of a perfectionist than I have in the past. You know what I mean? Like rather than rushing to get it out, I'm letting some other people listen to it to give me a second and third and fourth opinion, et cetera, et cetera. Especially it being like DJ centric music. And a couple of the tracks that I had people listen to, I went off on a lot of twists and turns, you know what I mean? And I wanted to structure it in a way that was at least within the more usable structure. Like I can DJ the music if it has like a lot of twists and turns, but a lot of people have like an expectation, I would say. So there's a couple of tracks where I actually changed the arrangement a little bit to make it a little bit more um, I don't know, to make it better, actually, in my opinion, to make it more optimal. So that's sort of like the balance that I've been kind of trying to do actually recently is to kind of make it more coherent that way. But anyway, this particular track, I don't know if it's going to be on that EP. In a way, it depends on how things go tonight. But because I feel like this track is good, but I don't know. I don't want to say much more other than that. So I'll go ahead and play it and see what you guys have to, what you
If
think
we
of it.
like it, you might have to do an LP.
Could turn into an LP. I'm telling you, it's possible. It's possible.
Sick beat like usual, Lenny. Are you using Reaper now for all your beats?
Yeah, yeah, I've been using Reaper.
Did you find yourself creating stuff differently when you started using a different DAW?
For sure, definitely. I mean, considering the DAW I came from was a little bit more limited with the MIDI integration, I would say is the biggest difference, you know. So I had less VST, more samples with my old DAW, which was Acid, by the way.
Okay.
You know, which is great for jungle. A lot of classic stuff has been made with Acid, but Reaper is the best of both worlds, in my opinion. Whereas I had the familiarity of being able to manipulate the waveforms and do so much more. Actually, that's the one thing. I think you know Ableton and most modern DAWs, the ability to like move stuff within the samples so everything can be in sync. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times I'm layering drums, so now it's like so nice to be able to like the one layer might be off a little bit and I can move it very easily. And someone
Okay.
made, yeah, so and the other thing is I'm side chaining the drums too, you know, so there's technically two kicks and two snares on the main beat. So it's a bit punchier that way, I
Okay.
think.
Well, it was sounded amazing. So you're pretty close. I don't know. I just got to hear it on a bigger system. It deserves that, you know. I can't crank it when I'm at home.
Yeah, yeah. It's designed to be played loud, that's for sure. I'm not saying
Hmm.
it's perfect. There's a lot that can always be done in that category, but it's certainly I test it as much as I can, you know what I mean? For that purpose. And yeah, someone made the point about the different sounds. So I have kind of in a way two breakdowns in this track, right? And the second one, I was kind of happy with how that second one turned out, especially to be honest with you, because I
Hmm.
kind of thought, okay, I'm gonna throw a curveball here.
Yeah, it's
And,
different
you know,
than what you usually use. Yeah.
right.
Yeah,
And
that
I thought,
last.
sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say that last breakdown session where you kind of filter, do a high pass filter on everything. I almost, I know this sounds silly, but I almost felt like I was going to hear like one of the cartoon sounds of somebody running, like the, you know.
Right, right.
It would have been kind of a funny sample to throw in there, but anyway, no, it was
But
cool the different breakdowns.
yeah, it was handy to have those sounds because I got a new sample CD that someone recommended. This guy Veek, Veak. So if you ever want some jungle and drum and bass type break beats and stuff, so I used it only in that tiny little section. But I'm like, okay, I bought this sample CD, and rather than using all like the big beats and the big bass and everything, I ended up using like the little weirded out FX parts that they had. You know what I mean? But it worked perfectly. I was like, oh man, I would have, I don't know, just trial and error. And I just thought I couldn't have predicted that. Like if had I tried to do that, it wouldn't have happened, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just throw some sounds together and you're like, wow, okay, that works. And I personally like the way it goes back into like the track again. You know what I mean? And it feels good like when it happens. So it's like, um, you know, timing is everything in music. And so, and someone was saying about the genre. I think I mentioned Future Signal before. In my opinion, Future Signal is, well, it's one of my favorites. And it's an older style drum and bass. So it has that kind of dark synth stuff going on, you know? So just in case you're into that kind of sound, I highly recommend Future Signal. I literally own everything they've made. It's not a long list, but everything they've done was definitely worth listening to. And I would typically throw a future signal track into a set that I do almost, not always, but extremely often. So been very inspired, and I finally feel like I'm getting a little bit closer to that kind of sound, you know? I think I described it last time where it's like dirty but clean at the same time. So I think it is kind of a dance floor track, but yeah, that was my concern was maybe it was too basic, you know what I mean? But
No, you moved away from that with some of the ARP and some of the synth stuff. I thought you've really changed it up. I
right,
liked
so
it.
it keeps your interest, right? Okay,
Yeah.
because I was worried because sometimes I think, okay, it's a good drop, right? Certainly it's a good drop. I knew that. But it's like, how do you sustain it? So that's why I feel like with the breakdowns and taking out and reintroducing again, um, you know, I suffer from attention deficit disorder, frankly. So I can be easily bored, you know what I mean? And especially, you know how it is. You're listening to this track so many times when you're making it, right? So it's just like you guys are hearing it for the first time, so it hits you all at once. But I've taken a long time to get to understand that, you know, sometimes you can just basically, you know, have that reoccur. But it's always a balance. I'm always trying to change something, make it a little bit less predictable. You know what I mean? You take something out, you put something in. And ultimately it is meant to be DJ'd. So this track hopefully, you know, can be double dropped with something else anyway. So it will have new life in that way anyhow, right? So I think that's really a comment that someone made before is that sometimes a producer can do what a DJ does in their track, where it's a mix. You know what I mean? And sometimes I would make like three tracks in one track, you know? And I'm trying to step back from that and let each track breathe and then leave that to the DJ to do. So whether that's me or someone else, but have those different twists and turns as part of the mix as opposed to the actual building block, which is the track. You know what I mean? So I don't know, that's the theory. Glad you guys liked it though, seems like, and you know, so and just imagine that was one of the tracks I wasn't even thinking could fit on the record or the EP. So, you know, I do have quite a few good ones that I haven't even played here at the meetup yet. So I'll
Well,
definitely let you guys know.
you saw my comment, and I said, "Oh, actually, I'll your last five tracks I'd buy now." So
Yeah, yeah.
I
Well, a
don't know
lot
if
of
those are
those
the
will be
ones.
on there. Yeah, yeah. No, for sure. I mean, yeah. I'm just like, yeah. I'm just happy that people like them. You know what I mean? I just
Hmm.
want to put out something. I said this comment before. I put out enough bad stuff in the past that I pretty much can only put out good stuff from now on, because just to balance it out, hopefully. Because you know, I am tempted to do what Peter did and just go back and just delete everything. You know what I mean? Trust me, I
Hmm.
understand that feeling completely because a lot of the stuff I listen to, I kind of cringe. But I don't know. It is what it is. It's hopefully a progression that leads to somewhere decent. And, you know, I uh I appreciate the comments and yeah, thanks for checking it out. So I will go ahead and spin the wheel. Oh, and I did like a little cat video, by the way, promo for this that BP Bloops made a comment about it. Because I was thinking, okay, everyone likes cat videos, and I want to do a promo. So I'm like, I'll put them together. Like I'll put my music and then I'll have a cat. And I'm like, wow, like why fight it? You know what I mean? It was like a light bulb went off in my head, you know? So it's kind of funny. Right, Peter, you just got back from vacation, you were telling us, from the hot Caribbean weather to the sub-zero Arctic.
Yeah, took me a bit to readjust. I was right on that day when the giant snowfall,
Oh
yes,
gosh.
snowfall was.
Yeah, and
Um,
it hit the entire continent, right? Or at least North America. Like, I mean, it hit everywhere. Yeah.
Phoenix was fine, but I had to fly to Austin, which kind of screwed things up. But yeah,
Oh yeah, right. Even in Texas, there it's got snow from what I saw. Yeah.
the worst part was the ice.
so before, like my track will be in the genre of techno. I guess those of you who've been around, it's not
Surprise, surprise.
entirely surprising. But before I talk to about my track, I just wanted to mention that we talked about the social media and all these media platforms, SoundCloud, YouTube, music, Spotify, all of these things are just built around social interactions and likes and numbers and plays and streams and all that. And to me, as part of I think of myself as part of the underground sort of 90s style rave culture, all of this is a bit counterintuitive because it drives different emotions in people and like different motivations in terms of making music or DJing or whatever. It's driven often by some sort of numbers. So besides music, I also have a career in software. So I figured nothing that they can do technically is very different from or unique, that nothing that can be replicated, but without all that engagement garbage, all the likes, all the things. And I thought of the motto, which is no numbers, no algorithms, just music. So it's specifically for my subgenre of techno. So I'm just gonna post a link. Maybe some of you will take a look. It's still under construction. Half of the things are not working yet, but it's basically something that I want to make eventually as an alternative to big media outlets that has all kinds of necessary stuff, the ability to upload and play music, but without all kinds of, and share music, but without all kinds of things that just don't belong to underground techno music, basically. So it's called Techno Dash. I haven't shared it yet. It's still under construction, so please don't tell or don't distribute, but just for this small group, I just want to make sure you kind of know that what I'm up to and perhaps click around. And I already posted a few sets there that represent my kind of idea of what the quote unquote proper techno should be, or non-commercial or non-business version of techno. So anyway, if you're curious what my opinion is,
No business techno. Sorry.
It's just one opinion. I mean, obviously, different people have different takes on techno and other subgenres, but this is how I feel techno should be. So, anyway, if you're curious, you can click around. There are a few recordings that exist that on that of non-commercial, non-mainstream kind of stuff. Anyway, back to my music. I just, how I re-listen periodically some of my tracks, and one of them just irritated me, and I decided to redo it and add a little bit less sort of fluff and a little bit a couple of extra layers of percussion and changed in the lead in the way lead works, the synth. I presented this track before, some of you probably remember, but this is a version of I call it 2026 edition or remix rather. So Lenny, whenever you.
Yeah, and it's a video too, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Because MP4, right? Okay. Yep, just checking. All right, let's give it a listen.
The video is very basic, so don't pay too much attention to that.
Sure. Okay, let's give it a listen and turn it up.
Yeah, very nice, Peter. That was really cool.
Excellent. Yes.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, nice mix all around and use of the stereo field. I mean,
Mm.
very spacious and I would call it rich, like a rich techno mix. Very full.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not very typical for me to feel this way. Like, I mean, generally my music is darker, faster, harder. This is just was like a moment, and I was like, okay,
Yeah,
I,
you normally have like the warehouse industrial kind of more sounding, you know what I mean? And we had that nice analog that I don't know, it's a nice vibe to it, but it works so well. Sorry, Jeff, if I by
No,
the way, I
I
just
right with you, Lenny. I found the last a couple songs that I've heard, you had that more natural sounding, less in sort of industrial. It's much warmer. It's much more uh, textured and rhythmic. I really enjoy it a lot.
thank you.
I don't know that I heard the previous version. I think I did. But was this a remix of something?
Yeah,
It was. Okay, okay. So
I'm
that's
gonna
what I thought
post
it
the
was.
original in the chat just in case you're
Yeah,
curious
yeah,
what
yeah,
happened.
yeah. So I do remember now then. Okay. But still quite different from the last version you had, if
Yeah,
memory serves.
I've tweaked a few things, so it does sound kind of different now.
Yeah. But quite a journey. I mean, that's the kind of track you can re-listen to several times, and every time you hear it, you listen, you'll probably hear something different even. Experience it somehow differently. Like it's so, and I'm pretty sure on headphones, on a big sound system, you would have different dimensions too. You know what I mean? So it's one of those tracks that's very versatile, I would say, by the sounds of it. So, I feel like listening to it again. So like that's what I mean. Like that's usually a good sign.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Yeah. So basically, I don't know. I think we're all speechless. Very good work, Peter. Thank you once again. And yeah, keep us up to date with that website or whatever, that
Yeah,
app. Sounds
this
sounds like a great
is just
idea.
for podcasts, so you can play from the website. The trick was to make it play so you can even close it on your phone and it continues to play in the background. So that's kind of thing, because usually with website, you click, you close the phone and that's it. So this
Right.
one is supposed to work. And also there is an RSS feed. So if you have like your player of choice where you listen to your audiobooks or music, you can basically link it so you don't even have to go there. You can just, it will automatically give you the new music periodically as it gets uploaded. So it's like a typical old kind of fashioned podcast website. And I completely removed all of the likes and comments. You go, what you can see on the SoundCloud comments, fire, 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 fire. Like, I mean, there's no point just wasting, you know, uh, energy like computers and doing things that just makes very little sense. So I kind of stripped it down, and also it's techno, so less is more. So I figured, in the website and the music app, it's also that applies, right? Less is more. So it's just music. If you're interested in tuning into sets from whatever I consider proper, great. There will be a registration and the optional upload, but again, your upload's not going to go live. They will be um, reviewed, and then if it conforms to our idea of like what the techno should be, then they get approved. So it's like it's not going to be flooded with uploads, and there are definitely not going to be people who would make it for some kind of engagement, like streams, following or whatever else that people do. Like doesn't belong here. Now, I'm not against this in general, but there's so many platforms like Spotify and whatever that do that. Like I figured we'll do something different here.
Nice.
That reminds me, by the way, of DMB Share. So the equivalent, it's like an old school website. I'll put the link here. It literally, as the name sounds, you just people sharing tunes and mixes, and that's it. So it's just old school. There's no, as far as I know, there's no likes, there's no algorithms, there's no nothing, and people just share there's a lot. You can actually get a lot of white labels on DMB Share too. Like trying to remember that track. KRS-One, Sound of the Police. I remember I grabbed off this DMB Share. So people will upload their own kind of versions of tracks that are maybe copyright questionable, put it that way. So you can get some good tunes actually if you want to add to your collection, but a lot of great mixes. But that's a really great idea, though, Peter. Just to go back to what you're saying. I like that idea that it can play on your phone even when it's closed. That's like something that would happen to me many times. So I appreciate that feature
Yeah,
right off the
here's
bat.
another thing about it. So I'm doing it for just this particular subgenre of techno, but I'm also, when I'm done, I'm going to release the software open source. So if
Nice.
anyone wants to make a similar service for their music, they will be more than welcome to. I need to do a few rounds of
Cool.
polish for this one, but it's not just technopodcasts.com. It's also going to be an open source podcasting software
Cool.
that is targeting, and there are plenty exists, but they're targeting old school, like Linux under the table kind of system. But this one is written against the cloud, like modern cloud stack, so it would scale infinitely as your audience increases. So that's a little bit technical, but basically the software I'm using is like a modern cloud technologies that scale.
Yeah,
So
I think a lot of people probably know this already, but I'll just try to summarize and keep me honest here. It's kind of like I use the example of Netflix, where if you're watching Netflix in Europe, you're getting the content served to you closer to where you're streaming it from. If you're in, South America, and so these cloud
yeah, those are
solutions,
geo-optimized content delivery networks that are like at the back. Actually, my software is using the same stack that Netflix does.
basically, right? And so a lot of software actually does. And AWS, everyone thinks of Amazon as a retailer, but they're a huge, huge player in the cloud computing and other people as well. But the reason I know this is Rect Network, believe it or not, uses that type of model, as does Night Ride, and our friend Vosto, who's been here several times, is part of that whole. So but it's good to hear that, Peter. That's a very excellent project. It sounds like so excellent music and an excellent open source software project to boot. So cool, cool. Well, thank you once again, Peter, for sharing. Mhm. Hey, Andrew.
Yes, hello, hi everybody. Hope everyone's having a good new year. I am, and
Good.
I want to present this new track that I came up with. It's called NX Gen, and it's a little bit houseier than I usually go. Minimal, I guess, minimal house, but I'm not quite sure exactly if I can pinpoint it exactly. But Lenny, if you want to take it away, please.
Yeah, let's give it a listen.
Oh, okay. I lost the feed for a second. So yeah, that was next gen. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that was
Oh, okay.
excellent.
Yeah, sorry. I was having trouble with the mute unmute button, whatever. Anyway, yeah, so I named the track after a model car that I built that was called Next Gen. If anyone's curious, when I name my tracks, I just kind of pick pick random things out of my room because I have a hard time coming up with names for tracks. So I just pick up random things and I name them those. And that's why maybe some of you are wondering why some of the names for the tracks are a little obscure or weird. And that's why. So
Got
yeah,
to do what you got to do.
yeah.
You can also use numbers.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Numbers are a little
number
more
three.
difficult.
I like the dub echo thing that you started off with. Like that almost sounded like like the older style dub, like
Hmm.
before dubstep, like the King Tubby and that kind of effect, like the ring
Okay.
echo, I think it is, and but like such a good intro. The whole track is excellent, but that intro had me from the beginning. And then when the beat kicks in, it's like even better. And then you do the twist with the beats. That track could have gone in different directions, I think, personally. I think this direction is great. I think it's very coherent. But I can almost imagine like multiple remixes of this track, frankly. But it's very, very good. I mean, honestly,
Oh
very,
wow.
very enjoyable. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it could be louder. It's always hard to gauge that, to be honest with you. So I don't think I'm even gonna go in that direction. But like, I would love to hear that track just absolutely blasting loud, frankly, too.
Sweet.
Yeah, good job, man.
Thanks. Yeah, it's different when you hear your stuff on a loudspeakers, like uh and it's nice, but I know I don't do it as much as I should. But no, that's high praise coming from you, Lenny. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. I don't know if anyone else has any other feelings about the track or the arrangement, but I just, it's like I could listen to it for longer too. Like that's another sign that I'm really enjoying it. It just felt like, you know, had so much energy, so much sustainability. And like I say, it felt like it could go in almost any direction, so you never really knew. And I think you did a good job, by bringing back what you started off with, and you added some other elements to it.
Okay, yeah, yeah. The only thing I was curious about is that if anyone thought that there was too many kicks when
No,
the kick drum came in, it was goo 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 doo 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 doo
No.
doo doo pretty much throughout the whole track. No one noticed that?
Hmm. Yeah,
no,
I
it's
thought
it's
it.
Actually,
I thought
good.
it was fine. Yeah.
I liked your kick. I thought it pulled it all together. Like you started out with the softer rhythms, and the kick just pulled it all into. Yeah, I like that.
Okay, I was just worried that maybe it was just too much, but okay.
More drums, more drums.
More drums?
uh,
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's somewhat speechless, I guess. Sometimes a good track does that, just it's hard
I,
to.
I was commenting on you did some detuning there of some of your, I don't know what it was. I think it was a synth, and I think it just, especially where you put it, it was great. It was excellent because everything was so kind of I don't want to say same, but they were aligned melodically, and then that detuning kind of just did a thing that I
Okay.
don't know how to explain, but it was great. I really enjoyed hearing
Yeah.
it. It was very unexpected.
Cool, man. I'm
Yeah.
glad you enjoyed that. Yeah, I think I detuned a couple two tracks. It was that one, and then there was another one uh, a little bit further in when the melody kicked in too. But no, that's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, it's great.
Was this new too? Like you just did it? I'm always asking this question because I feel like you have like such a discography that it's like, oh, I made that 2 years ago, you know?
I don't know. I've been at it for a while, but that track is probably about 2 months old. I started
Okay.
it, and I worked on it in December, January, and I finished it up about a week ago. And I just
Oh,
listened
okay.
to it, listened to it, listened to it, listened to it, listened to it, and then I was like, yeah, I guess I could put it up on SoundCloud now, right? So you know how it is when you're critiquing your own stuff. I don't have other than you guys, I don't have anyone that I can really bounce the ideas off of because everyone else that I know is into their own style or genre of music, and it's just yeah. So
You know, and I made this point before that sometimes other people with all the best intentions can be very misleading. You know what I mean? So it's good to have a group of people that you trust and who know music or your style of music. You know what I mean? Just to throw it out there because, and I think really in large part that's what our group provides for a lot of people is that, you know,
yeah, and I enjoy sharing it with you guys and getting the feedback, and I mean um it's definitely keeps me going, and making me want to come up with some new stuff. Like for the last maybe about 6 months ago, I got out of my funk a little bit. So I was in a little bit of a rut there for a year, where I was just relying on, I guess, old files that I was finishing up on. You know what I
right.
mean? Instead of
I
coming up
see.
with new stuff. Yeah.
You know, it's interesting. Even like everyone, music is a part of everybody's life. If you really think about it, like pretty much every single person on Earth, 8 billion, 9 billion, I forget what the last count is, but one way or another, music is part of their life. And yet, the vast majority of people are not immersed in it, thinking about it all the time. It's just something that's there. You know what I mean? It's
Hmm.
playing on the radio. It's playing in the background. They like this. They
Well,
like that. And it's interesting hearing sometimes, to be honest with you, those people's opinions. I'm saying those people, but I'm just saying like a casual person, like my cousin, for example. I'll let him hear a tune, and I find a lot of the times they're more easy to impress. They're just like, "Oh yeah, that sounds great," and it's like,
Hmm.
okay. But there's some people I notice they know when something's wrong. That's an interesting
Hmm.
skill set. There's like
mhm.
some people that they don't necessarily know, but like immediately, no, 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 that's just you can't have that there. And I'm like, what do you mean? You know, like sounds okay to me. And then I listen to it, I'm like, ah, you know what? They're totally right. But it's like they just know it right away, just instinctively. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting art form that way. You know what I mean? Unlike other art forms, like I don't know, we all consume visual media, right? Mostly through advertising, I would say, or just aesthetics. But music is actually something that I think is more a part of a normal person's life than any other art form, actually. So anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. It's good that that we can be of benefit, Andrew, in some small way, right? So glad to hear it, man.
Yeah, that's
And
why
I
I come.
enjoy listening to your music. I mean, honestly,
And
it's,
I
it's always a
I
pleasure.
love listening to everyone else's too. That's the thing. So
Right on.
it's great. So it's a mutual trade-off.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. All right. Well, thanks again for sharing, Andrew. It's great stuff. Great way to start off the new year. I know it's already a month in, but to me, it still feels like the new year. Reggie, Richard, how are things?
Hey, good.
Stuff, good stuff.
I am enjoying everything that everyone's playing tonight. It's really nice to sort of see where everyone's starting out the year. Some continuation of things we've heard before and new stuff, which is always exciting. That's really great. Um, let's see about this. Here's a song. Uh, if you've heard stuff I've done, you know I wouldn't. I couldn't keep a genre or do a genre or do it consistently ever. So it's sort of all over the place. So I really couldn't classify it in that way. Um, it's 5 minutes and 50 seconds long. I'm looking here at my notes. 110 beats a minute, 4/4, and it's kind of it's interesting the conversation because Andrew, your point of being in a funk and then breaking out and doing new stuff. Peter, your comment of picking up stuff and remixing it, and having it come out differently. I'm sort of in that same boat. I think the origins of this, if I went back, probably is close to 10 years ago now. I think the original recordings were like in 2018, somewhere in there. And but I've been through 3 different computers and upgrades and 5 different versions of Bitwig and upgrade, and even though I try and install the software the same each time, it's never the same, and so some VSTs fall out. I replace them with other things, and so it's interesting playing the same source file and then realizing, oh, that whole, that VST2 isn't working on this new Windows 11 computer, So I just started re-architecting this and mining this song for new ideas. And so, like I said, I started in about 2018. I think I picked it up again in August, and I've been sort of dabbling with it over the fall. I'd say I'm about ready to call it done, but I'm curious to get you all's impression. Like I say, it's all over the place, but go ahead and play it. Maybe we can talk about it afterwards.
All right, let's do that.
Oh, that was really good. I enjoyed that a lot. Always enjoy your work, Richard. My sense, I mentioned it in there, was that for some reason the bass didn't seem to be the right bass, and Phil jumped on it too. But there was certain time. Well,
Yeah, I can hear you, Jeff. I mean,
Yeah,
everything
we
all
can
right?
hear you. Yeah.
sorry, I guess I didn't. I didn't mute my YouTube, and so that started
Ah,
playing. But that's what I had wanted to say. I thought at certain parts your mix was absolutely amazing, and everything was so integrated. I really liked the vibe kind of mallet instrument you have. I find that when you're using that, your sound really is coming together at some of those points, and with the band. Very good.
Uh, Great comments, and I think you all, are spot on in terms of the mix is not complete. Obviously, it hasn't been really mastered out either. Definitely, it was interesting hearing it through YouTube because it was way subdued from what I'm used to hearing on my own system. So clearly, all the whatever post production, of getting it boosted, compressed, whatever, equalized, and definitely not through with the mixing yet either. There's lots of parts, and I'm trying to move them around and get them to move in the space, and so that's kind of where I am in the completion of all of it. I'm just happy that I don't feel like, oh, I need to add another little piece here or whatever, So that part of it's stable, now. I'm just trying to glue it all together and get it to sound better. But really good advice on the bass and the drums. When you said Phil, I guess the
Hmm.
drums were kind of muddled. Or yeah, I heard it. So I
Yeah.
really appreciate pointing it out. That's really good stuff.
Yeah, I think you've got a lot of density in your tracks, and I think when you have a lot of density, you kind of have to figure out the spacing a little bit more and the levels a little bit more. You can't get away with kind of uh, phoning it in, so it's going to take some work, but all the elements are there. The arrangement's awesome, the composition's great, the instrumentation, I mean, it sounds like a band playing.
Mm-hmm.
So now you've got to
definitely.
be
Yeah.
the engine, you got to be the sound engineer now, and maybe give some panning, creative panning with some of the parts, like someone else's. It felt a little bit centered. There were a lot of parts that were not centered, but I think if you expand some of those other instruments out a little bit, and then
Yep.
the EQ on some of those, the drums, I just felt like needed to have a little bit more higher end to them, and maybe
Good.
just to give them a little bit of that uh, uh, what do you call it, sheen to it. But and then the levels, obviously, sometimes the drums just weren't kind of visible enough, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it's a great track. A good job, like just composing all the parts and putting them together.
Cool.
Yeah, just to
And
echo
it,
that part, it does feel like a band for sure. And your music often does sound that way to us, Richard. I think we've asked so many times, like, is that you just playing that all to the and you're like, oh, I'm doing edits
Yeah.
and whatnot. But it feels so organic. It's the right mix of being cohesive and at the same time there's so much variety.
mhm.
And you really do bring it all together. So it's
Yeah, I mean,
excellent.
you could hand all that to that arrangement to a live or a real band and have that played, and it would be just amazing to see
Mm.
in
Real
concert, I would
band,
think.
real band.
Yeah, like if you had Shakti or one of those groups playing this, it would just be fantastic to see and hear. Yeah,
Yeah, remember when there were groups that used to play
yeah,
music?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. I remember seeing a one-man band though once, so there you go. Yeah, I was
Great
just going to
comments.
add too that on my levels, it was sitting a little bit flat. So if you push the bass up a little bit, and allow some of the sheen of the high end to come through, I think it'll be a much better kind of overall mix. But I was listening to my ears first, but then I saw it on my meters too. So
Good stuff.
yeah, excellent job.
Yeah, I've always felt, I'm a crappy keyboardist or whatever, and even worse engineer, So it's like getting the most difficult assignment. But hey, no one else will do it. Might as well do it myself, So
Yeah.
I think it's
and
a big compliment to your skill set, though, to be able to accomplish that, Richard, because I think that sometimes if someone's asking the question, like, is that an actual band or is that just one guy? Like, then you accomplish something, right? Because you honestly could believe that that was a multi-person jam, actually.
there's the task shifts, So part of it is listening to music in your head and then somehow capturing it, and most of it comes out pretty mono-centered, And then where I'm at now, the second pass or the third pass, is the sound aspect of it, the equalization of it, the compression, and placing it in space, the spatial arrangement of it all. It's a whole other exercise on the same material, So, and not being super efficient, it just takes forever to do. But I appreciate the comments. I wrote these things down. I'm going to go back through and do a lot of these things. So, and I just wanted to say, Grizzle, you win the background, the wallpaper award for this evening.
Thank you. Yes.
That's an actual picture, right, Gerber?
That's his studio.
Actually, me in Grizzle Studios.
Grizzle Studio, yeah, that's in the garage.
Yeah.
Nothing would be more awesome than to get the drums going and then turn on all that gear and then actually just play the piece. That would be so awesome. But
yeah, have you seen this guy Younger on YouTube? And actually has a setup that looks like that, and he does live looping and.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I've seen that guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Well, thanks,
awesome
fellas.
stuff.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Richard. Really enjoyed that, and I'm glad that there's so many useful comments too. So hopefully that helps. Just all right, it's Jeff.
Okay. Well, this one is a little quicker out the door than I had hoped. I would have liked to have a bit more time, particularly on the bass. It didn't quite, or I heard it too much. It just got too repetitive. I was trying to vary the bass a bit, and maybe a little bit too much in your face. But anyway, any feedback I can get on this on how to bring some improvement to the track would be helpful. And let's take a listen, Lenny, if that's okay
All right.
with you.
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it just really it set a tone and just kind of delivered all the way through. So yeah, way to start it out and then just kind of bring it together with the arrangement with the you've done a lot more with your drums and your bass with this track than you have in the past, as far as like experimenting with different rhythms and kind of phrasing than you have in the past. So yeah.
I really thank you for that feedback because I had a sense that probably because I did it very quickly, but I did it so intensely, and so
Hmm.
that bass was just killing me, and I couldn't even listen to the song because I couldn't get past the bass and the drum, right?
Oh.
And so I kind of lost it. So
Mm.
thank you. And Peter, you said thanks that the bass was there, so thank you both. I appreciate that because I was really concerned about that and whether I should have been pulling it back or something, right? I just didn't know.
Hmm. No, I definitely leave it the way it is,
Well, I
in
have to
my
say
opinion.
thank you. I came into this by I was listening to this wave pattern,
Hmm.
and so I slowed my beats per minute down and tried to get this wave pattern, which I couldn't get, but I came up with that kind of bass rhythm. And
Hmm.
then I started working with it, and then I realized I was working at 45 beats per minute. And so the song is at 45 beats per minute, which is very interesting to me. And then
Audience said 120 though, or something, right?
does it? Okay. Well,
Yeah,
so it just doubles it, right? But when
yeah,
I'm
or
writing it,
triples it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, so that was a fact that was interesting. And then when I went to use ozone, it was making it so harsh. So I
Hmm.
went back and I just worked and I actually did it all through with the adaptive limiter, and
Hmm.
I got a much softer sound because sometimes I find when I'm pushing up into ozone, I start to get some more shrillness, and which I can't sometimes get rid of. So I found that I was working through the adaptive limiter on this one, and I managed to get my volumes up to the point
Hmm.
that I wanted. But that was probably because I had really set the bass and the drum uh,
Mm.
at the beginning, and so anyway, thank you. That part where I just go into the chords and
Hmm.
then it swings back into the sort of minor key. That
Hmm.
worked okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's good. I don't know why I just came with that idea. I'd never thought of doing that before. But
I like the
and
synth
you,
sound too, by the way. It had like a real good complement. All the sounds worked well together, but that it had that old school element to it, like it's hard for me to articulate it, but well, I did mention Klaus Schultz, Tangerine Dream, so that's
Hmm.
definitely analog kind of sounding synth, but yeah, I just think that you had a very, even though it was somewhat, I don't know if I would say sparse, but the vibe was really on point. I mean, it worked from the very beginning all the way through. So I thought it was really good. I
oh,
liked it.
thanks, Lenny. I I get lost into things. I just can't even hear it at a certain point, and I just, So thank you.
But the trick in these is just leave it for a few days. But it's hard, I know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Some people use chemicals. I'm not saying you should or shouldn't. I'm just saying it's true. It's certain substances, like cannabis, just to throw it out there. But
Yeah.
even
I,
then, you can get. Sometimes that won't work either, though. I'm just saying, like it usually gives you a fresh, especially if you haven't done it in a long time, and then you'll really get like, oh, okay, wow, you know what I mean? You're hearing it sort of in a weird way for the first time sometimes, but then if you become too acclimatized to that, then that's can be can be useful though. I don't necessarily. Everybody's different, and it's legal here in Canada, so we can talk about it without being arrested. But I'm just saying, like, it may not be great for producing, but it's great for listening. That's all I'll say. You know what I mean? Some people can do everything on it, but you know what I mean? For many people, they can become lazy, or you just start thinking certain things sound better than they actually do, and then you listen back to it and you're like, all right, you know what? In the moment, it was great, but perhaps it was a little bit self-indulgent. But anyway, you did a really good job. I really think it was a great track.
Well,
And
thank you.
yeah, and I think time though, like you were saying, Peter, and other people have mentioned that you let some time go by and you come back to it and you sort of hear it with fresh ears again, you know? So that's actually probably the best approach that I've seen over the years. It's frustrating if you're kind of low or high tide preference, I should say, and impatient, as
I
I
wanted to
think
bring
I
it
have
in.
been in myself personally as a
Yeah,
struggle.
I just wanted to bring it in tonight, and so I didn't. And I thought, so I didn't take that time to wait. So I was more excited to get it out and have you. I find that this I try to bring a new piece or something. Every time I find that coming into the group gets me to really focus like that, and I try to work towards getting something through. It really helps to motivate me a lot.
Yeah, and I like to think of our group as, and I don't like the word safe space because, I was trying to think, it sounds kind of cringy, but I've actually, even when we were meeting up in person, I was very aware of how to make it comfortable. Like, how can we have a group of people standing around in a circle back in the day, or sitting around in a circle listening to music? And then I think I remember saying we had like some visual going so that we had something for our eyes to focus on. But throughout the years, one thing that I've always been happy with is that I feel that it's a very comfortable, low stress environment, and it's useful too. So it's not just like people patting each other on the back. You're still getting
It's
useful.
constructive.
It's
Yes.
constructive, exactly,
Hmm.
and it's not a competition per se, right? I was just sort of thinking about how some, actually the comments that Peter made earlier with social media, like our entire society has been exaggerated in that, you know, in that way where everyone is kind of competing for views and numbers and you know what I mean? And it's just nice to have a kind of more personable experience where, it's not, like I say, a kind of competition for attention as much as, a comfortable experience that's constructive. So I'm glad that, it can be of use. And I'm actually really impressed with a lot of the different people, including yourself, Jeff, who I think you were new to electronic music when you joined the group. So hearing how you've sort of gotten, further along, but this is a really great track. I mean, this could be one of the better ones that you've made, actually, just to throw it out there.
Oh, thank you.
So, and you've made a lot of good ones. So,
Yeah, I mean, I had done electronic music before I came in here, but I didn't have like I was just recording. I had no idea about production and that. I used to just record and write songs, but I had no idea that how to mix or do anything like that. So yeah, like totally new to production in any way.
yeah. So really very impressed and very enjoyable, actually. Like, that's a very enjoyable tune. So, good stuff.
So
Thank you for sharing.
thank you all. I appreciate it, and thanks for being there.
Ready? So I've got to get my screen here again. I think we got two people left. Right, let me share my screen. Alrighty, Phil, what's going on?
So I went to. I'm hearing an echo or a repeat. Maybe it's
I
from.
don't know if it's you,
Yeah.
Peter. Grillo? Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
yeah.
Yeah, so went to Carlsbad, California over Christmas and New Year's this year, and it's the first time I've actually walked out during low tide to the tide pools, and it was fascinating just to wander around out there and see like what's exposed when the tide goes out amongst the rocks and the beach. And so we saw, sea slugs, we saw urchins, we saw starfish and octopus and lobsters and crabs and kelp and all kinds of stuff out there. So when I came back to Phoenix after being out there, I came up with this track. It's called Tide Pools. So again, using nothing but Omnisphere.
Right.
So hope you enjoy it.
Let's give it a listen.
sense discovery when I listen to that. Like you're discovering something like you're in the main menu of a video game and you're choosing stuff in the menu. You know what I mean? Like I don't know.
Hmm.
I just feel like I'm my mind is transported into a mode where I'm going to be discovering things. That's all.
Hmm. Yeah, and that's kind of what I was going after. It was like this sense of unknown and discovering, and like what's under this rock or what's down in this pool and what's
Yeah.
beneath this kelp. And yeah, it was just I was blown away because I'd heard about going to tide pools, and I went to like a simulated tide pool at the aquarium, but actually going out there for real and seeing all the people. I mean, it was filled with people out there doing the same thing, but yet you were still able to find unique things that other people weren't seeing. So yeah, it was fascinating.
Well, I think that track reflected that feeling for sure.
Hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys ever gone snorkeling in like a coral reef, but like it's sort of uh like that's what I associated with what you're
Hmm.
describing. I've never been to a tide pool, but all this oceanic life and flowing ebbs and flows and but anyways, that was an amazing track. So I really enjoyed that.
Thanks.
I always love water and the sounds of water, and when you bring it into the music, it's amazing, and you've really done something with it there. When you're getting the textures,
Hmm.
are you actually playing like notes in there as well?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's what's
I'm
so the
yeah.
notes that you're getting are really something.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm everything's played on the keyboard, so I don't. Um, I might tweak like a timing here and there after I play it, but a lot of times it's just finding the right patches and sounds that go together and uh, playing the same notes on those. So like even the parts that are more like the wind chime thing, that's the same key as everything else, so it kind of fits.
How do you do that bass? When you start, you have the water, and then you have a bass, and it seems not only to get louder, but it also seems to glide along
Hmm.
through notes. Am I correct? Is it? It's not
Yeah,
just volume.
that was actually part of the patch that had the string sound in it.
I see.
So it was a complex patch that I came across in Omnisphere, and I think it was in their factory library. I think I used Omnisphere 3, and they reorganized their library and added some new patches and stuff. And they have it segmented out by kind of style, and this was under organic uh, symphonic organic or something like that. I can't remember the term exactly, but I found that string sound, and then as a side effect of that, it actually had that bass that kind of wobbled underneath it
Mm.
at a slow wobble. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll leave that in there. I could probably dissect the patch and take it out, but I was like, oh, it actually works, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah.
No, I like that. It was quite unique, and to have it with the water sounds as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I felt like it kind of reinforced the idea of kind of the slow tide pool drip because the water's never static there. It's always kind of moving around and stuff. So especially as the tide comes in or goes out, there's like this kind of slow flow back into where the tide pool is exposed. So yeah.
Yeah, no, that's an amazing track. Uh,
Curious.
uh,
Sorry.
no, go ahead, Phil. Peter.
I'm just curious, like it's ambient, obviously, but is
Hmm.
there any kind of I can't help but labeling everything.
Hmm.
I'm just curious, is there any kind of sub genre of ambient or is just
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not a genre whore, if you will. But I don't know genres. I'm like, I call it electronic ambient, but I don't know. It's just all, I call all my stuff electronic because I'm using electrons to produce it, but it's not in the best sense of the word electronic. But
Hey,
I thought the electronic
DJing
ambient
does it to
sounded
you,
right.
because if you
hmm
DJ, you have to have to
yeah,
know what,
yeah,
right? And like without labeling, it's hard. You have to
yeah. I
concentrate.
don't know what my stuff is. I'm just like, I put it out there and whatever it is, it is. But yeah, it's hard for me to. There's so many genres and subgenres and peripheral genres and whatever. I don't even try. But
What BPM did you have? I mean, you must have at least some BPM.
let's see. On Audius, it says it's at because Audius does a pretty good job of detecting that.
Oh, I didn't even
124
realize
beats per
that.
minute. Yeah,
Oh, okay,
and
okay.
it gets
Yeah,
the
it's got the
key
key.
too.
Right, right, right. Cool, cool. Interesting. I
Yeah,
would
and
call it
that's
organic.
about right because G flat was kind of the bass chord. So yeah, looks like it did a good job of that.
If I had to name it a genre, I would call it organic uh ambient electro. Not really
Yeah,
electronic, but
yeah.
definitely had an organic, and yet, obviously it's synthesizers.
hmm
It's very
Despondic.
Yeah, that's what my name is, Despondo. Yeah, there you go.
Nice, being able to mix synthetic and nature, like in that way.
hmm
Uh, Counterintuitive sometimes. Like you go synthetic, you think some kind of industrial, harsh, robotic
hmm
tech, houses. Like you kind of think of those when you kind of like hear that nature in that mix. It's like
hmm
interesting, right? And it gives you like, um,
I think especially the older analog, not always the case, but
hmm
a lot of the analog synths tend to have that organic. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking back to Richard, that compilation you did with the so what decade was that, from the 60s or whatever?
70,
Like
the wave
70s.
maker, all the analog
The
synthesizers. Yeah.
wave
Hmm.
maker, right? So that
Yeah.
that had like a very organic sound to it as well, I would say. Like it kind of blended in with nature. I remember one time listening to Pink Floyd Ummagumma cranked in a field, and it just worked with the nature, like the sounds of all the synth, and the birds were coming by, and you're just like, wow, it was incredible how it fit in. But
Phil, I thought it was interesting that you used tide pools as a title, and then, talking about the tide pools. Then you start listening to music, and your brain starts to connect. Oh, yeah, I can see the tide pools. Yeah, I can see the glimmering water. If you'd given it a different name, would we have arrived at different, conclusions? I heard breathing. I heard
hmm
glistening sunlight reflected in tide pools. So it's interesting how the title and talking about it as sort of as a subject, sort of allows your brain to focus in a certain way. A different title
Yeah,
might have yielded a whole different experience. But it was awesome. Good, really good piece.
yeah. Thanks. Yeah, and on the name too. Usually, I add the names after I at least get part of the song going. I have to save it, and then I come up with the name. But this one just kind of like had that feeling. I didn't go out to set, or I didn't set myself to go and compose something about tide pools. When I found the patches and I started playing, I'm like, this kind of sounds like that feeling I had when I was out there. So
Cool.
that's how it kind of came around. Yep. Well, thanks everyone.
yeah, thank you for sharing, and excellent work as always, Phil. I mean, I feel like a lot of your stuff I felt like was from outer space, and now we're in the ocean. So,
hmm I like to take people places.
yeah, yeah, quite the journey. So, yeah, Peter Grillo, you're the next. You sent in a track. Anything you want to say about it before we listen? think you're on mute, actually.
Yes. Great. Hello, everyone. Great tracks tonight. Um, and it's been a lot of fun listening. And so I brought a track. I found this excellent vocal on label Radar, and it's Trice B is the artist, and the vocals very layered and thick, and it was a challenge to mix, and but I tried to make a song out of it, and check it out.
Right, yeah, and thanks for sharing the link there. That's something I'll check out. I think you mentioned it before, but interesting stuff. But yeah, let's give it a listen.
This is the phantom sound. Jackal.
Nicely done.
Yeah, good job taking that vocal and turning it into something that you can actually work with in the mix in a song. I know it's can be challenging sometimes when you find a vocal to make it fit, but good job on that.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I think it was the same comment I had with Richard, where the bass just seemed to be a little bit low in the mix. I think you could boost that up a little bit, and it would really enhance the track.
Okay. Yeah, I'll rebalance that.
I really, really liked that. I really enjoyed your the creation of the harmonies. You're putting the harmonies together.
Well, no, I
Oh,
took the vocal stems had, you know,
and they
the
were
vocal
set.
stems were all already baked in with the harmonies.
Okay, so you're not rematching the different stems together at different places. Okay.
No, there were let's see. There was like a lead vocal, but it had it had the doubles and the harmonies in it, and then there was another stem that had some vocal chops, and yeah, so I yeah the it it was the challenge was that these stems came with all those harmonies, and
Okay.
it was hard to mix that you could hear them and not step on them. Um, and
Yeah.
in the chorus, I added a gospel choir because I didn't think there was enough going on.
Okay, so
but
you did add something in. So you did put some work in there. Okay, some. Okay.
yeah,
Sounded like a lot to work with, like you mentioned, a lot of rich sound. So good job putting it together. Did you just choose the instruments like to complement the vocals? I imagine, but
yeah. Uh,
I guess what I'm saying is you
tried to
only
pick.
got the vocals. Like you didn't take stems of other
No,
arrangement parts.
I only take the vocal stems and make a song. I like making songs with vocals, and I can't sing, so it's it's fun to get these vocal stems that are professional, and then make a completely new song out of it.
Yeah, I remember that you were doing a lot of remixing and entering different contests and I remember you were basically creating an entirely new track. Like even though it was quote unquote a remix, you really were just using the vocals and making a brand new tune.
Correct. Correct.
Nice, nice. I thought it was really well done, but some of the other feedback there regarding the bass or whatever might be an idea. I always find it difficult, like you going over streaming or whatever, but at the end of the day, a lot of times that's how people will be listening to the music anyway. So it's a good test, frankly, from that perspective.
True. Yeah, I have a pretty good studio setup, but my I always have to bounce it in the car to to see if I got the kick bass right and the levels.
Right, right. Yeah, nothing exaggerates like a car audio experience. That's true. Like
Yeah.
it's good. It's good. It's good to test it out. Of course, a big PA is always nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for sharing, Peter. I thought it was very creative use of like that's a good website to check out. I'm gonna peruse that later and see.
Yeah, that was very
Yeah,
exciting.
they always have maybe 10, 15 remix contests going at a time, and yeah, so I just dip in, listen. I'll listen to the original kind of, I'll put it in Spotify. I got a playlist of remix tracks, and but I'll play it and kind of just jump into it, listen to the vocal. I try not to listen to the original, so I don't get any ideas. but but if I hear something in the vocal that I think I can work with, then I'll download the stems and go to town.
Yeah, it's a
Fun
very
hobby.
good. Yeah, it's a good approach. So, well, looks like we're down to the last track. So, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone once again. Really great night. Really appreciate the contributions and discussion. Very, very good start to the new year, I think. I think we got a lot of, I got a lot of inspiration, to be honest with you. So, looking forward to releasing my EP. I'll let you guys know when that happens. But in the meantime, keep in touch. Let us know what's going on with. We do have a Discord. I'm not really a big Discord guy, but I think Phil, you have one as well. But you can always send me an email too. Actually, if you ever want to get in touch with me in the absolute worst case scenario. Otherwise, and I can send you the Discord invite, by the way, if you want it. So send me an email if you don't have it already. And other than that, everyone stays warm. Definitely up here in Canada, we got a real cold spell happening. But it's good for making music, I find. I think the winter for me works for that reason. I'm inside and I'm like, okay, well, make some music. So it's
Yep.
always a good thing to do. And yeah, don't know what else to say. Anyone got anything else they want to plug or talk about? Alrighty. Well, hey, thank you guys once again. Great seeing you all, and see you again next month then. Take
Okay,
care.
All
thank
right.
you.
Everyone.
Bye,
Good night,
everyone.
Thank
everybody.
you.